may be the media and this show and other things you're doing. Others are to bring a technology forward. Others are to build something on the land or, food or other resource-based things. We have a lot of that within our society, and we're building and growing it as we go along. And what I now know to be an absolute truth is the strength of the grounding and the stability that we've achieved continues to resonate and hold and ripple outward to strengthen that grounding. So it's not really an either or in terms of our way, your way. It's, okay, how do we get to where we want to be, which is what we've been talking about.
Yeah, and that's why we've asked you, to come and explain what you've been doing, because I've always recognized that there's not a one-size-fits-all, and it's just a case of getting everybody to where they want to be. And, really what I feel is, and from what, the way Libby's describing her circumstances and everything, we are here, and I think, I've kind of indicated in my mission statement, which was built on my own personal mission statement. What I'm here to do is to support and encourage others. And if we could learn ourselves how to go through this process, I would be one for sure, and I think Libby would be with me, if we chose to go this route. We would be very willing to be the support and encouragement for more and more, and then more and more. And if we help 5, 10, 15 people, those 5, 10, 15 people can help 5, 10, 15, 20 more people. And that's when it grows and grows and grows. And the more people that do this, more and more powerful we all become. And we the energy that's being sucked off us from this system, that cannot be accessed anymore by it. And that's when we as individuals became stronger and stronger, and we're powerful in our uniqueness. And this is, I think, that's my mission, is to support and encourage anyone who feels not in their own power yet, because that's when they step into their own power. I've been to the point in my life of absolutely zero self-esteem, and I know what it's like to be there. And I feel that I'm one that can say to somebody that says, no, I could never do that. You can say, yes, you can. And I'll support and encourage you. I can't do it for you, but I can support and encourage you. And this has been our motto. We're here to support and encourage you guys. So this would be an awesome thing for me. If I were to create a society, it would be one to support and encourage everyone towards their goals, visions, dreams, or whatever you want to call them. And this would be a really fantastic way that we could all help each other, because for me, humanity, it's natural for us to help each other. You see, like a hurricane or something, everybody's roof's blown off and nobody's got food and this and that, but there's a few, and we all just come together and we help each other. We're not looking for exchange at that point. We're just here to support each other. And that's who we are. And I feel with this immense amount of work you've done and this knowledge you've accrued and you've put it all together, if we could create societies whereby we could say, hey, we're open, do you want to join? We'll help each other. That is my vision for humanity.
Okay, very good. Well, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
So,
I have done it. I have done it. The society's already been created right here, right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the key point, but also keep in mind that's a small microcosm compared to the world. There are 7.5 billion people, of which maybe 30 to 40% are in serious struggle just to maintain their life, or their children and their families. So the system it's more than just us. But we have to, it's like we're the parents on the airplane, and the masks come down, and the instructions are, get yourself stable first, put the mask on, make sure you're breathing, then take care of your child. We have to do that. We cannot project ourselves outside of our own need to be stable and basically secure before we can help another. But our intent, and that's an absolute intent. I wrote a document 16 years ago that evolved a bit, but it's an essential document, and it is the grounding point of what, when somebody becomes a member of our society, they agree that they're committed to those principles, and it's called a Declaration of Intention, and it's on our Pantera public site, panterapca.org, and you just look at foundational documents and you can read it. But essentially, it is our declaration. We are here of intention. We are here in service and stewardship. That what comes to us is only here in our possession as a steward, and we are directing it to our purposes of what we're here to do. So when, and that service is to do what's best for this entire world. But it takes time. We are in that horizontal bar in time. We have to build a stable base, and that's what we have been doing. So, now you, the three of you, as a beginning point for your society, because you've developed the society, whether you called it that, whether you structured around a document, it is a society. Your voice has reached out to many people around the world that listen to this show. And so you can ground yourselves in the stability of this. And a lot of it, when I say 1 to 2 years, yes, there's a lot of legal steps. Yes, there's some, it's complex in terms of the documents, but it's one step at a time. The primary step is education. And the key to education is not knowledge and information, because knowledge and information is just in the mind and it is not grounded. What needs to be co-equal with knowledge and information is the awareness of our being that integrates it, that makes it our own. And so we've made that education for knowledge and information of, yes, as you said, my vast experience of what I've done for 50 years, and everybody else, hundreds of people have contributed to building Gemstone, that it is within the reach of most people. And if somebody sincerely comes to us and says, well, I want to be a member, I can't afford, the annual donation or even the monthly, then we give them a scholarship. But we ask something in return, kind of like that old, oath of fealty, the land grant, and you give me your, your pledge of support. We ask one thing, one price, which is your commitment to actually learn, to actually engage and embody the information. And, we're setting up teams to interact with our members, and people who have a scholarship. Well, what have you learned? Are you really taking advantage of the scholarship? Some are, and some excel, and some aren't. And so we're not a closed door. We want everybody to learn this, but we've had to build up to this point. And there are certain things that we've reached at this stage in our progression that are going to give us a lot more capability and means to expand on that. Everything we've done is scalable so that we can more and more incorporate, larger audience or membership. And one of the key things, if you've read the master plan, which is on the public side on the front page of the Gemstone University .org site, is a global media alliance to integrate the voices, to combine knowledge, information, awareness, and being together, what you have been doing and building probably out of nothing, just by your passion and your motivation, your voice, which is now a global voice. Imagine if we integrated an alliance of hundreds and thousands of those voices, created the environment where we could support and also protect those voices and continue to build that awakening, which is paramount for shifting things here on this planet. We have two things to shift: awareness and withdrawal of consent, like what you said earlier. I forget how to pronounce his name.
The one with no name.
The man with no name is when you withdraw your consent and your actual contribution to their system, it reduced. You're seeing in your community a reduction of revenue creation and you're withdrawing the food of the fiction, the corporation, and that more and more, people don't really realize that more and more is contributing to the final demise of that corporation. We wouldn't be here on the macro scale of what's going on in global events if people hadn't been doing that for the last 20, 30 years. It's forced the corporation to seek other ways, more and more illegal, more and more overt, and more in the face of the world community to keep itself alive. And so it is having a major effect.
The greatest threat that I pose to the construct around me is the dissolution of its illusion in the minds of everyone around here. That is the biggest threat, because without the continuance of the matrix delusion, people are going to say, well, why is it exactly that I'm being imposed upon and extorted continually? So that's the biggest thing. When I travel down the road, on the back of the truck that I travel in, it says legal name is fraud, and non-cooperation with evil is a sacred duty, and that's from Gandhi. It's on the right side of the truck. I can't tell you how, and I'm oftentimes traveling about in rush hour, all within very well-known speed traps, ID check traps, in these little towns and big towns, right next to a major Air Force base, by the way. And I can't tell you how many times people with cell phones have, I've looked in my rear view mirror and then looked to my left, and, people are giving me a thumbs up. People with cell phones are taking pictures or taking videos of the back of the truck. That kind of thing.
That's great. Yeah. Well, absolutely. And that's the voice that I'm talking about. That voice can be a bumper sticker, a radio show, whatever. And by the way, I didn't know that Gandhi had said the legal name is a fraud.
No.
That's good. No, I know. I'm joking. I know it. So, but let me ask the three of you a question. Have you watched the Game of Thrones series by chance?
No, I've heard
Nope, never seen it.
Stay away from it.
Okay, well, it's a fascinating. My wife and I like to watch. We don't watch TV, but we do watch some of the series that come out, and because it's an interesting window into what consciousness is revealing to itself, and what kind of things are coming through artists as writers and production groups and stuff like that. So there's some really fascinating series that have come out in the last 5 or 10 years that are showing that these things are becoming more coming into awareness. Basically, it's obviously fictional. It's based on the historical context of sort of the Middle Ages and the fight for the thrones. Who's the top guy, the alpha male on the top of the pyramid in the hierarchy, because everything in the matrix, in the hologram of illusion, is based on the pyramid, the science of the pyramid, which is a capacitor concentrator to concentrate energy to the top. And whether that's in political or social structure or money structure, it's all pyramidal. When the pyramids were actually built on this planet, and all this other stone grid line systems, of which there are 80 to 100,000 locations on the planet, it was a global grid capacitor system to concentrate energy into the Giza, the three pyramids on the Giza, and that was actually a energy source and a weapon. And then it just transposed into the monetary system. It's the same thing. The monetary system is just a pyramid as a weapon of mass destruction. And it's all based on the old paradigm of the hierarchy and the alpha male. So the Game of Thrones just shows you that in many interesting ways. And the reason I bring it up, though, is one of the main characters has herself in one of these domains, little, each area is like a kingdom or a domain. So she's in this one domain. She's in exile from her home, and she's got nasty people killing her family and stuff. And she ends up in this temple with this guy, and the whole thing in that temple And the instruction she goes through is the guide, the teacher always calls her girl with no name. And it's all about that. It's a metaphor of the whole thing you're talking about, girl with no name. And then if you don't really walk through that point and really realize it, you know, you end up with your face taken off your body, you're dead, and you're hung up in the gallery with a bunch of other people with no faces and no names. But in the end, she learned what she was there to learn, because in the end, when he said girl with no name, she turns around, looks at him square and says, no, I have a name.